So this is my second video that I'm doing. Um, I've been meaning to do this one for a while, but I've been having some issues with it because it's something that is actually happening right now for me in my career, which is being injured. So I've been lucky throughout most of my career. I haven't really had any major issues. Um, give thanks. Um, but the last 2 years or so, I've been having some kind of like pattern injuries, like groin strain or typical. As my physio also would say, it's like typical. Age is coming in, so to speak. Towards the back end of your career, you start to get certain niggles, certain pains, and stiffness and stuff. And for me, that's been adductor stuff. Um, glutes not firing. Not being um, conditioned, and just dealing with little niggles. So it's been it's like 6 weeks now, 5, 6 weeks. I had a grade 2 hamstring tear, and initially I thought, okay, cool. I'm injured. I mean, last year I was out for about a month uh, with some hip issues. Earlier in the season, I had some same hip issues, but nothing that kept me out, for a long period of time. I've never had any major tears. This is my first tear. Apparently, it was 5 centimeters, 7 centimeters, or something. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, you know, they say 4 to 6 weeks. I'll be back in two and a half. And that's not happened. And your body decides based on, um, I guess, how fit you are, how much you've been traveling, how much you've been doing, what's going on in your mind, everything. I personally feel that any injury has come from some sort of emotional place and some form of energetic connection that's going on in your life. That's just my belief. Um, but then, there's also an argument for, the freak injuries that happen. A man goes and twists his ankle or, does his ACL or MCL or whatever, and it's like, crap, out of nothing, this guy was fit, he was playing well, just freak accident. So, you know, I'm not saying that those injuries are due to something that's happening. It could be, doesn't necessarily have to be. It's just my belief. Um, but yeah, so with me now, uh, I've found it fucking tough because, and I have so much respect for people who have been through long-term injuries, and that I have regularly recurring injuries throughout seasons that have to battle back, and get fit, and it's a different game that you're playing. Uh, like I said, for me initially it was, yeah, I can deal with it. I'm all positive. I can deal with it every day, hitting it. Um, Doing the exercises, make sure I'm eating right, sleeping right, going and seeing specialists, and trying to get the most advanced recovery and rehabilitation. But you have good days and you have bad days, and uh, I think mine was it was like 2 weeks ago now when I hit like the 4 week stage, and I was trying to push it, and end up getting a setback. Specifically, I was, coming back from a hamstring injury. You want to strengthen the area, but you don't want to push it too much, and your body kind of tells you how quick you can go and what you can do. Like you'll try and do something, and it'll tell you no, that's not happening. And I had that 2 weeks ago when I was trying to do a side foot finish, simple, just trying to work my way back in, and hamstring wasn't having it. So I had a little setback, And for me, it was mentally tough because here I am trying to push myself and considering, where I'm at right now at my club where, we're in a relegation battle and you want to be a part of it, you want to help the team, you want to, play. And your body's not there. Uh, and I had to kind of take a step back and kind of look and say, okay, well, here I am with my, eagerness, but there's a process to it, and you have to allow it to happen. You can try and eat as best you can and do what you can control, but that only gets you so far. There's a part of just letting go and just letting the body heal itself. You can't rush that. Um, and like I said, I've been kind of putting this one back because it's been an everyday thing for me that I'm trying to deal with. Uh, and for me personally, it was kind of looking at, I like to analyze everything, and I look to, okay, well, you know, are my exercises the right exercises? Am I strengthening too early? Am I doing too much? Am I doing too little? And you get to this place of, like I was, maybe for these past 2 weeks, is like you just feel lost with it. You're just like, I'm doing all the right things. I feel like I should be at a certain level, and it doesn't even help when there's other people around you who are with similar injuries. Maybe not as bad. Like there's a few guys here who have had grade 1 in hamstring tears, and they're like coming back fit, and then here you are, you're thinking, yeah, you can keep up with them, but really and truly, it's a whole different injury. So their tear, what the area it was in, mine was a bicep femoris, which is one of your major muscles at the back of your leg. They call it hamstrings, and yeah, you try and that competitiveness. You're trying to keep up with other people when their injury's their injury. Like you can't even, you're not on their level. They might be advanced, they might be behind. You have to kind of stay in your lane. One thing that's helped me, that I've really taken on board with this whole injury thing, is it points you to learning more about your body and what does what, like, what happens when your glutes aren't firing, what happens when, your adductors aren't conditioned, or what happens when your hamstrings aren't conditioned. So you start to learn these things, and it's funny when an injury comes along, you start to kickstart like your routine or your prehab, activation stuff. You start to look at that a bit more. And I think with me personally, the last few years, it's been something that just kind of comes up every day because it's your body, it's your engine, it's what does the work for you. So you have to know how it works. It's your machine. So, you start to pay attention more about, these sort of things, and you start to pay attention more in training, realizing what exercises are for what, like why we do this in the warm up and why we do these certain things at certain times in the week. So, yeah, the injury thing for me has been testing, and because of the person I am, it's you end up being in your head a lot because you have time, you know, um, and when I'm looking at kind of how it's progressing, you try and keep scoring. Like, okay, this is good, okay, this is bad, and you're constantly trying to gauge where it is. So you'll be at home and you're like touching the area and trying to do movements and exercises to try and see where it's at, if it feels better or not. But like I say, you get to a place where you've done all that, and then you're just like, shit, like I can't even do nothing. Like, done all the exercises. I just need to just lay here and just pray, hope it gets better when it does. So yeah, it's something that when you're in it, and I mean, I'm speaking now. It's in the evening, and I'm looking back on today itself, and even today in itself, like went through moments of thinking like, fuck, like, you know, this is feeling like it's not going so well, and I'm taking too long to get back. You know, it's been 6 weeks, and you know, I've gone from running at 3/4 pace to now running, you know, start having to start from scratch again, and I think from what I'm learning right now is that you know, working with your physio and working with, you know, people around you to kind of share how you're feeling, and you know, let that out, and not kind of hold that to yourself, um, and try and find ways to kind of, you know, stick to the plan, stick to the process, and you know, don't lose faith with it, even though there's gonna be times when, you know, you're not gonna want to do the exercise, or you're not gonna want to do the bike session because you're like, fuck, you know. Um, so yeah, it's annoying, it's frustrating, but it's part and parcel of the game, you know. It's part and parcel of learning about your body, and yeah, I feel like it's funny because as you're younger, you hear this stuff and you see it, and you just think, oh, you know, I'm just gonna go out and play, and I don't feel stiff, and you know, who cares? Like, I'll just, you know, I know I'm fine. It catches up with you over time, and then you start to realize that these exercises become like daily routines. You know, activation becomes like a serious thing. I think it hit me like a few years ago when I was seeing a couple of like the younger guys coming out, um, and like just straight pinging balls and zinging them, and like, you know, two touch, and I'm thinking, I need to like do a couple like lengths and like just go for a jog to warm up first. I can't jump straight into pinging balls anymore. Um, or I could, but it would freaking hurt. Uh, so yeah, it's a part of the learning curve. Um, so yeah, I mean, that's just my experience that I'm having right now. I'm probably gonna do another maybe detailed video about it, um, and touching on the emotional side of stuff, and how, you know, my belief with it being linked to stuff that's happening in your personal life, um, how maybe that's, you know, what kind of comes into play in the body sometimes. So look out for that one. So yeah, I hope this has helped people. It probably hasn't, because this has just been a rant about how I've been feeling being injured. So yeah, talk to you guys soon.